11 News. Coverage you can count on.
We are dealing with another cold day today. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Amenta. As you probably already know, it is April 22nd and meteorologist Scott Harbaugh has some bad news. Scott, it's still snowing in parts of the area.
Yeah, you get down to the mountains of West Virginia, Maryland, also northeast of Allegheny County from about Butler, Catania, Indiana on northeast. Flakes still flying, a couple raindrops mixing in a couple of spots. None of this is really sticking out. The sun is up and it's at a fairly high angle this time of the year. In most areas are above freezing. Look at that cloud cover development again. Did see some sunshine. Going to go basically overcast later this afternoon, and that will keep temperatures down as we go through the day. 41 right now, that wind chill. 32, and that's going to be a factor the rest of the afternoon. Notice wind chill will be in the 30s as temperatures are in the 40s this afternoon. Might see some peaks of sunshine again as we head toward evening. Things will get better as we head toward the weekend, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a fully dry weekend. I'm taking you hour by hour with Saturday. Show you when rain will force you inside. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, a lot to discuss. We will see you soon, Scott. Even as vaccines become more widely available, health experts say COVID testing remains a critical tool at keeping our community safe. And to help do that, stores are now rolling out do-it-yourself kits that we can all do at home. Channel 11's Mike Holden explains their benefits and limitations.
Getting tested for COVID-19 is easier than ever before. Major retailers like Walgreens right here are actually offering at-home test kits, but we're going straight to the experts and asking them if they're effective and accurate. The days of waiting in long lines and scrambling to book a COVID-19 test are now a thing of the past. Walmart and Walgreens announced they're selling an antigen test. It promises to return results in just 15 minutes. And over at CVS, they're rolling out 3 over-the-counter COVID-19 tests that you can buy online or in store without a prescription. Dr. Brian Lamb, internal medicine specialist with AHN, says they certainly bring a layer of convenience, aren't an option in a pinch. However, he says you still need to err on the side of caution. He says self-administered tests present a margin of error, and you must carefully follow the detailed directions. He says because they are so new, research on accuracy rates has not yet been released.
We haven't seen the actual percentage rates. They do know, right now the test does show that it's less sensitive, but I don't know by the exact numbers. And that's what we're waiting to see. So we're waiting to see just how accurate this test is. So before we can really recommend it from a primary care standpoint.
Now, it's important to mention none of these tests are covered by insurance. We're breaking down that side of the story for Channel 11 News at 5, plus why it's still important to get tested after you've been vaccinated. That's all starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting this afternoon, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
Mike, thank you. Great information there. Breaking at noon, the Allegheny County Health Department just released the latest COVID numbers. In the last 24 hours, 299 new cases were reported. Those cases range in age from 3 months to 99 years old, and there was 1 new death. A CDC panel is meeting tomorrow to examine the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and whether to restart vaccinations. The head of the CDC appeared on the Today Show this morning, and she said she feels an urgency to make a decision and is hopeful that the U.S. will be able to use the vaccine again soon.
I believe it's really important to make a swift decision, as I believe does the FDA. So we'll see what they have to say, and we'll be forward with a guidance soon thereafter.
Dr. Lewinsky also says that part of the review will look at the benefits of having the J&J vaccine versus the rare cases of blood clots that have been reported. Meanwhile, an independent study is backing Johnson & Johnson on how well the vaccine protects against COVID. The New England Journal of Medicine looked at data from the company's late-stage trials, and it found the vaccine is about 66% effective against moderate to severe disease. And that is the same number that Johnson & Johnson released in January. The Global Climate Summit is underway, and today President Joe Biden announced a new and bold target for cutting greenhouse gas emissions. Channel 11's Kristen Wright is in our Washington News Bureau with details on the plan and why there is opposition.
President Biden announced what environmentalists are describing as an ambitious goal to cut greenhouse gas emissions by half by 2030. The president opened the virtual climate summit with world leaders this morning. Biden's new pledge, cutting greenhouse gas emissions 50 to 52% from 2005 levels over the next 9 years. The president's plan includes transforming transportation systems and electrical grids. Today, he addressed concerns among some Republicans in Congress that oil, gas, and coal workers will lose jobs. The administration insists the new climate target will mean millions of middle-class union jobs.
I see line workers laying thousands of miles of transmission lines for a clean, modern, resilient grid. I see workers capping hundreds of thousands of abandoned oil and gas wells that need to be cleaned up.
Earlier this week, House Republicans introduced their own climate initiatives. The minority leader saying their plans will save jobs and make energy cleaner and more affordable. In Washington, Kristen Wright, Channel 11 News.
The president's climate goals come as carbon emissions are set to surge. According to the International Energy Agency, emissions are on track to reach the second highest yearly rise on record. A little closer to home, new at noon, Mayor Bill Peduto wants the city to be carbon neutral by the year 2050. The goal is part of an executive order the mayor issued this morning in honor of Earth Day. And it also included the order expanding the use of electric and natural gas powered vehicles, transitioning to more energy efficient buildings, and distributing blue recycling bins to every single family home and smaller apartment buildings in the city. And in honor of Earth Day, today the Pirates will partner with Duquesne Light for the opening of an urban garden at PNC Park. They'll use 100% sustainable practices and provide the ballpark with healthy food. And by the way, this season, every home run the Buccos hit at home will result in a new tree being planted in one of the city's neighborhoods. The hope is to cut down on what's known as heat island impact. That's when things like our buildings and roads absorb and re-emit the sun's heat more than natural landscapes. And that can contribute to higher daytime temperatures, reduced nighttime cooling, and higher air pollution levels. New at noon, the American economy continues to show improvement as businesses start to open back up following the pandemic. The Labor Department says 547,000 people applied for first-time jobless benefits last week, and that number is a new low in this COVID era. And with the number of COVID cases declining and more Americans getting vaccinated, states and businesses are starting to open up, and companies are now hiring to get ready for a busy summer season. However, there are still about 8 million fewer people working than before the pandemic, and there are more than 17 million people still receiving some kind of aid through pandemic programs. Many parents are about to get hundreds of extra dollars a month, and it's all part of the expanded Child Tax Credit program. This is an expansion of the Child Tax Credit that will give parents and caregivers $250 to $300 a month. There will be 6 monthly payments, July through December, from the American Rescue Plan, and then the rest of the credit will be received when income tax returns are filed next year. So the big question, who is eligible? Well, the child must have a Social Security number and must be related to the parent who provided at least half of the child support during the past year. To be eligible for the full 2021 credit, your adjusted gross income needs to be equal to or below what you see right here on the screen. If you've filed either a 2019 or 2020 tax return and fall under the income thresholds, you should be getting half the credit during the second half of 2021. I know that's a lot. There are a lot of factors other than income, like age as well. We have the full breakdown on the WPXI News app. Be sure to check it out. All right, switching gears now. A student assignment regarding slavery was just removed from the curriculum at Moon Area Middle School.
And when I went and read it myself, I was baffled.
The social studies assignment asked students if they would rather be a well-taken-care-of slave or if they would have risked everything for a chance of freedom. A parent agreed to talk with us, but asked that we blur her face.
There wasn't well-owned slaves. Nobody that wasn't free, you're not well taken care of.
Moon's superintendent sent us a statement saying they carefully reviewed the question and it was removed. He apologized to the students and families who were affected. New details out today on the shooting of Micaiah Bryant, 16-year-old girl shot by police in Columbus, Ohio. Police say, according to body cam footage, she had a knife in her hand and was in an altercation with another young girl. Authorities released new footage saying they want to be as transparent as possible. NBC's Megan Fitzgerald has the latest from Columbus.
Columbus's mayor and police department say they've never released body camera video so quickly, but they wanted to be transparent. Even still, there is growing outrage here and across the nation. A warning here that the video you're about to see is disturbing. Police releasing this body camera footage from Tuesday afternoon. Investigators say you can see 16-year-old Micaiah Bryant lunging at a female who falls to the ground before going after another person near the hood of a car. That's when police say Officer Nicholas Reardon saw a knife in the girl's hand and opened fire. CPR was administered on scene, but the girl later died at the hospital.
Regardless of the circumstances, a 16-year-old girl lost her life yesterday.
What information did the officer have, and what would have happened if he had taken no action at all? We don't yet have those answers.
Officials say Officer Reardon has been taken off the street. Investigators are still interviewing witnesses. As for those two other females who were confronted by Bryant, we're told they have minor injuries. I'm Megan Fitzgerald for NBC News.
Dante Wright's funeral will be held in Minneapolis today. Wright was shot and killed this month by a police officer during a traffic stop. Police say the officer made a mistake and grabbed her gun instead of her taser. She is facing charges. The Reverend Al Sharpton announced his organization, the National Action Network, will cover the cost of the funeral.
I like the businesses as it is now. We can walk indoors, we can talk to each other, we can buy things.
The futuristic changes coming to a local neighborhood.
A lot of potholes around here, messing up my tires.
Oh, you know that is a common complaint in Pittsburgh, and city leaders know it too. The other problem that's making it hard to fix the streets, though. Welcome back. New at noon, researchers say findings suggest the two authorized COVID vaccines are safe for pregnant women. CDC researchers looked at data from over 35,000 pregnant women. They received either, of course, the Moderna or the Pfizer vaccines. And the researchers found that the rates of negative health effects were similar to those reported in studies involving pregnant women conducted before the pandemic. A local health provider is offering Moderna vaccines on the south side this weekend. Pittsburgh Mercy will host the clinic Saturday from 9 to 2. It will be at the health center along South 9th Street. The shots are free, but appointments are required. Those potholes now, they seem to come with the territory living here in Pittsburgh. And according to past numbers, the city needs to resurface about 85 miles of road every year just to stay ahead of the wear and tear. But this year, crews only plan to repave about 34 miles. And the city is spending less than they did in 2019. Channel 11's Aaron Martin found out what landslides have to do with it.
The sound of heavy trucks and paving is a welcome one on Stanton Avenue in Highland Park. It's what Jabbar Owen Staples has been waiting for.
A lot of potholes around here, messing up my tires.
Pittsburgh is committing around $16 million to pave 34 miles of city roads, down from $20 million for paving 2 years ago. City officials say money needed to be moved to deal with a spike in landslides leading to the drop. But Mayor Bill Peduto is hopeful federal COVID relief dollars could soon help.
We'll be looking at all areas of the city budget that we had to cut in order to be able to get through last year and the first half of this year, paving being one of them.
In the past, city leaders have said more than 80 miles of roads need to be paved annually just to keep up with the potholes, more than twice what will be done this year. Peduto questions the accuracy of that estimate, adding that progress is being made.
We began a new program which adds an additional inch of asphalt when we pave. We've noticed that we're seeing far less potholes, far less wear and tear.
It's news Owen Staples has been waiting to hear, but he knows improvements will take time.
For right now, it's probably going to be deal with it, but hopefully down the line, probably the next 2 years, it will get done. Something will be done.
Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
City officials say while spending on road paving is down from 2 years ago, it is much higher than before the Peduto administration. All right, we have some breaking news here out of D.C. The U.S. House just approved a bill that would make Washington, D.C. the 51st state. The bill now goes to the Senate, where it does face an uphill battle. It would need 60 votes to pass in the Senate, or the Senate would need to get rid of the filibuster. So we will certainly watch that. A proposed toll on a local bridge would not be permanent. These are new details we're learning after a budget hearing in Harrisburg. PennDOT officials said the timeline remains up in the air, but they don't expect it to last forever. Channel 11 was first to tell you about the plan to toll 9 bridges in the Commonwealth, including the 79 bridge near Bridgeville. It's expected to create $2.2 billion to fund transportation projects. If it is approved, the tolls could start in 2023. In developing news, there is a proposal in Harrisburg to protect human trafficking victims. The bill from local state rep Marcy Mustello looks to strengthen current laws. She says it would make it easier to arrest and prosecute offenders, specifically for acts against children. Pennsylvania ranks 4th in the nation in human trafficking prosecutions, and legal experts say the crime can be found in every corner of our state. And they say it's based on power and control, and at times is difficult to understand and to prosecute. Police in Bell Acres have a warning this afternoon after these guys. 2 black bears were spotted destroying a chicken coop outside a home. And the bears killed a few of the chickens, too. They were last seen on Highview Drive. So police say tonight, be careful if you have small animals and remove all sources of food from your yard, like a bird feeder.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Snow showers still flying across parts of the area. Most of it is light. We got a couple raindrops mixing in, but the fact that it's April 22nd, it's just more nuisance than anything else and just head-shaking stuff at this point. Temperatures all above freezing except in the mountains, so none of this is sticking right now. 39 degrees in Butler, 41 in Pittsburgh, 39 in Greensburg. Only made it to 40 degrees yesterday, coldest high temperature in Pittsburgh ever for April 21st. Records have been kept since the 1870s, so that breaks basically a 140-year-old record. Current wind chill, that's still a factor right now. Look at Somerset. Feels like 21 degrees. Pittsburgh feels like 32. Wind chill of 28 in Indiana. Going through the course of the afternoon, it will be breezy. That's my weather in a word today. You're going to notice the wind, which means you're going to notice the added chill in the air throughout the day. And those clouds have really started to fill back in because of that daytime heating. I know 41 degrees doesn't seem like daytime heating, but the temperature at the surface is much warmer than it is aloft. So you get that warm air at the surface to rise, get those clouds to reform fairly easily. Means it's not going to be a great playground afternoon. Lots of clouds this afternoon. If you want to get the kids outside, probably a medium weight jacket, some gloves and a hat too, because temperatures will be in the mid 40s, but with the wind, it's going to feel like mid to upper 30s. Another freeze warning again tonight, 1 in the morning to 9 in the morning. Basically, if you had your plants covered or you brought them in the last couple nights, do the same thing tonight. We'll start to rectify this a little bit as we head through the weekend. Forecast low for tonight down to 32 degrees with some clearing skies tonight. So clearing skies, some light wind, probably some frost to scrape off the windshield tomorrow morning as well. Tomorrow, turning the corner a bit, 60 for the high temperature tomorrow. There'll be a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Not going to be an overly sunny day, but it'll certainly look better than this afternoon, and it definitely will feel better. Saturday starts quiet on Storm Tracker, 7 a.m. Some sunshine to start the day, but if you have anything you want to do Saturday outside, earlier is better than later. 4 p.m. rain starts to roll in. Widespread rain Saturday evening into Saturday night. Now, the good news with this system is it's going to give most areas about a ½ inch to an inch of rain from Pittsburgh south, a little less off to the north, but most of it comes through between 4 Saturday afternoon and 5 o'clock Sunday morning. So the bulk of the daylight hours this weekend will still be dry. I think 70% of the weekend as a whole is going to be dry, so no washouts to worry about as we go through the course of the weekend. Your weekend always in view, 59 for the high temperature on Saturday, 57 Sunday. We'll see some clouds in the morning. Sun returns during the course of the afternoon as we hit the evening hours on Sunday, back down to the 30s, so another cold one Sunday night into Monday morning. Monday looking pretty good in your 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Going to crank up to about 66 degrees on Monday with plenty of sunshine. Catherine?
All right, Scott, thank you. There is a new push in Harrisburg this afternoon for more solar and wind power. This week, a group of Senate Democrats reintroduced a bill calling for more renewable energy sources. Their bill would require the state to produce 30% of its energy from alternative sources. The bill would also increase Pennsylvania's solar footprint by 5% and get the Public Utility Commission to study ways to restore renewable energy. More than $2 million is on the way to help get rid of lead in Aliquippa's drinking water. The money is coming from Pennsylvania's Infrastructure Investment Authority, and it will be used to replace more than 180 service lines. They secured the money after tests from last year showed elevated lead levels. Expensive and unhealthy, the major toll illegal dumping is taking on local communities. And check your cabinets, why these popular vitamins are getting pulled from shelves. Welcome back. Some good news here. The Big Butler Fair will go on as planned this year. The board of directors voted to hold the annual event. The fair was canceled last year because of COVID. And that was the first cancellation since the Civil War. Incredible. Big Butler Fair draws more than 100,000 people to the fairgrounds every year. It starts on July 2nd and will run for 9 days. Very exciting. Well, check your cabinets this afternoon because some gummy vitamins are being recalled after people found metallic mesh in the products. The Church & Dwight brand was manufactured between October 29th and November 3rd of last year. They were sold online and in store. They recalled VitaFusion products include melatonin, kids melatonin, FiberWell, SleepWell, and Multivites. As more people get vaccinated and return to somewhat normal routines, the Red Cross is encouraging you to donate blood if you can. They say people who have received the vaccine can certainly donate as long as they are symptom-free and feeling well. There's no waiting period after getting a vaccine, but they may ask you if you use the Pfizer, Moderna, or the Johnson & Johnson, just so they know. And the need for blood does remain high. Officials say donating now can help refuel the country's stockpile for the spring and summer.
Well, snow on the way out today, but I'm tracking when rain will interfere with your weekend plans.
And police under the microscope like never before, why some experts say we should not rush to judgment after a case in Ohio. And this old ball field could soon be a housing development. For some, it's a home run, while others are crying foul. Welcome back on this Thursday afternoon. Hope it's a pleasant one so far. Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Scott Harbaugh rejoins us. And Scott, wind chills are making it feel like it's freezing outside.
Yeah, it's not a very pleasant afternoon across the area. The snow showers, flakes and flurries still flying, primarily mountains and up along I-80. Most of this is very light. It's certainly not sticking or causing any issues. It's just more insult to injury for this time of the year. 41 right now, Pittsburgh. Live look with tower cam from Fine View. There's the wind chill right at that freezing mark, 32 degrees. So it is definitely coat weather this afternoon. Hat and gloves as well. Winds are going to be gusty right through late this afternoon. How about 5 o'clock this afternoon? Popping a 30-mile-per-hour wind gust pretty much. And that's going to keep that chill in the air throughout the afternoon as we only make it to about 47 degrees. Warm up for the weekend. I'm tracking how much of the weekend you'll need to be indoors. Coming up in just a few minutes.
See you soon, Scott. The officer-involved shooting of an armed teenager in Ohio has once again put the spotlight on how police do their jobs. Supporters of police are raising concerns about a rush to judgment. Channel 11's Angie Moreski spoke with a former FBI assistant director about criticism that police are using an unnecessary level of force.
After watching video of the police shooting in Columbus, former FBI Assistant Director Tom Fuentes voiced concern that he believes some protesters are rushing to judgment.
Should have something been done differently here? We can look at that and say, well, the officer should have done this and should have done that. I don't think in that situation the officer could have done anything else that would have been likely to prevent the extreme bodily harm or death of the other girl.
Fuentes says transparency, like releasing the body cam video, is important in these situations, but he says sometimes that can be misleading. He points to the video being frozen in the case of the 13-year-old boy shot in Chicago, who reportedly dropped a gun just a second before being shot.
When that kid turns around and raises his hands, he just dropped that weapon. And some accounts timed that out, said it was 0.8 of a second from the time he had the gun in his hand until the time he had his hands up and got shot. When we freeze frame it, the officer on the street in real time doesn't have the luxury of freeze framing. He's dealing with a situation full speed.
While understanding the tragedy of these situations, Fuentes says it's still important for police officers to get due process and have their cases reviewed before the public draws conclusions. Angie Moreski, Channel 11 News.
Police departments are also talking about how to move forward and what changes can be made and where. A recent Quinnipiac poll found that half of Americans said police officers are tougher on black people than white people. And former officers told us police departments have to change how they communicate.
Talking to people, spending time to understand what their issues are, and in that exchange, through that conversation, people will better understand law enforcement and what law enforcement wants to do.
Yesterday, the Justice Department announced it will investigate the police department in Minneapolis, where George Floyd was murdered. Allegheny County is one step closer to having an independent police review board. A bill is going to County Council for a vote, and members of the Public Safety Committee debated it, and 3 members voted no, saying they believe the community needs a chance to weigh in. If the bill passes, each of the 109 police departments in the county would have to opt in. The council is holding a public hearing on the bill next Wednesday, which is the 28th. This old ballpark could soon become a housing development. Butler Township just approved plans to build 100 homes along South Duffy and Highland Roads. But as Channel 11's Jillian Hartman learned, some neighbors are worried about those plans.
No doubt people are concerned about them going away.
These baseball fields in the Highfield area will soon be gone since the Butler Township commissioners approved a new housing plan to replace it.
What was passed last night was a new housing plan, all single-family residences of 100 lots encompassing 39 acres on the former baseball fields.
The township's manager, Tom Knights, tells me some folks aren't happy about this.
Well, I think they're long-standing baseball fields, a lot of memories, a lot of rich history in the immediate community and actually in the regional area for baseball. No doubt people are concerned about them going away.
He showed us what the housing development could potentially look like. The design and construction are not yet finalized. Knights told me this plan has been in the works for months, and he believes the housing plan will be beneficial.
As more and more families see the amenities in the township, housing is certainly going to be something that's got to be addressed with that growing need.
I did ask him what's next for this major project.
Well, there's a handful of contingencies that are still outstanding. There's some utility regulations that need to be complied with. There's a handful of agreements that still have to be executed with the township.
Jillian Hartman, Channel 11 News.
Township manager says the developer plans to begin construction this summer. An environmental group is using Earth Day to shine a light on the problem of illegal dumping. Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful says dump sites rose 230% last year, and they partially blame the pandemic. Cities spent close to $68 million to clean up these sites. The DEP says illegal dumping is really bad for the environment, causing everything from land and water pollution to problems with blight. They encourage communities to organize cleanup events to raise awareness. Well, here is an unsettling thought. There is a cyber attack in this country every 39 seconds, but now there is a new task force aimed at fighting hackers. The Justice Department says the issue has to be addressed immediately. They plan to develop training and resources to prevent companies and citizens from falling victim. The major focus will be on ransomware attacks. Last year, a local cybersecurity expert told our Business Times partners that ransomware incidents increased 715%. And he's seen Pittsburgh companies face full system lockdowns, forcing them to pay 6 or even 7-figure demands. Back to D.C., the U.S. Senate is set to vote on the COVID Hate Crimes Act today. That's according to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. The bill is supposed to address anti-Asian hate crimes by allowing the Justice Department to respond to them faster. Schumer says he expects the legislation to pass with bipartisan support this week. Getting paid to get your shot, that's an idea President Biden is pushing. How it would work and who would be eligible. And like everything else, the pandemic has changed how people get married. The biggest trends in pandemic I-dos. Well, you could start seeing wedding invitations popping up in your mailbox again. Many couples postponed the big day because of COVID last year, but now they're back and making some changes too. NBC's Liz McLaughlin has more on what you can expect.
Welcome, family, friends, and loved ones.
Virtual wedding planner Redfully took off in 2020 as the pandemic forced couples to pivot big plans for their big day.
We've always wanted the big wedding.
Even as COVID-19 protocols loosen in parts of the country, some couples are still seeing the benefits of digital nuptials.
The two main benefits of going virtual is definitely cutting down costs and cutting down planning stress.
This spring, couples continue to embrace the mini-moni, with plans for a bigger reception later this year.
We're going to see a lot of the trends that happened over the last year carry forward.
And as in-person events bounce back, newly engaged couples are competing for venues with those that postponed last year.
We're definitely seeing weddings booking a year and a half in advance.
With many Saturdays already booked up and fall set to be the busiest ever for weddings, couples are getting creative.
So we're seeing couples plan for Thursday weddings, maybe Sunday brunch, Sunday evening, even into Monday.
Many wedding planning checklists now include health protocols, with more couples and venues starting to require guests to be tested or vaccinated before attending.
The biggest one is this vaccine and negative COVID requirement, which will basically be the only way in which we can operate safely indoors for an event.
One bride so excited to get the shot, she did it in her dress.
Getting the vaccine is really exciting. It was a celebration.
And a way to make celebrations safer.
It's going to be a little pinch, okay?
Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Well, with nearly 400 days after shutting down because of the pandemic, Cirque du Soleil is restarting several of their productions. It plans to open 3 shows in Vegas this summer and then 2 touring shows. They filed for bankruptcy in June and laid off about 95% of their workers, but it came out of bankruptcy in November. The future looks really bright for one high schooler from New York, I'll say. Rachel Rivera has been accepted to 17 colleges. That includes 5 Ivy Leagues, including Columbia, Cornell, Dartmouth, Penn, and Yale. Way to go.
Showers right now of snow, showers over the weekend of rain. I'm tracking how much of your weekend will be wet.
In general, I think it's a good thing. It's technology innovation.
The future is now. The local neighborhood that will soon be crawling with robots. Next. President Joe Biden is calling on all businesses to give their workers paid time off to get vaccinated and time off if they need it to recover from any side effects. The president is working with the IRS to reimburse companies who allow employees to miss work to get the shot. It would apply to companies with fewer than 500 employees.
No working American should lose a single dollar from their paycheck because they chose to fulfill their patriotic duty of getting vaccinated.
The CDC reports that over half of adults have received at least one dose, and more than 26% of the total population is fully vaccinated. The construction industry is hiring, according to staffing firm PeopleReady. This year's construction season will bring as many as 500,000 jobs across the U.S. Many require no experience and provide on-the-job training. Some of the most in-demand jobs include roofers, general construction, and concrete workers. PeopleReady is holding monthly hiring events and encouraging people to apply on their app called JobStack. Well, Mother Nature, wow, threw baseball a curveball on Wednesday, including snow, wind, and rain. In Detroit, the grounds crew worked very hard to make the field ready to go. Staffers had to shovel snow by hand. They played in the snow, too. And the head's groundskeeper, he was like, you know what, this is so bad, I'm just staying here overnight. And then in Denver, the Rockies and Astros played through a snow squall.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
After barely any snow around here the entire month of March and the first 3 weeks of April, we had nearly 2 inches yesterday, which is the most we've seen in the last 2 months. Actually, combined the last 2 months, we hadn't seen 1.8 inches of snow. Still some snow flurries, snow showers. Notice the pink and the green showing up on Storm Tracker, Doppler 11 radar. So we're getting a couple of sprinkles mixed in with this, too. I mean, this is barely even windshield wiper stuff. Just kind of an annoying, chilly April afternoon across the area. Boy, the cloud cover has really filled back in. If you were with us this morning on Channel 11 Morning News, I showed you using Storm Tracker that we're going to see a little sun to start the day. Then by afternoon, basically start to go overcast. So the rest of the afternoon, not going to be overly pretty. That will keep the temperatures down a bit, too. 41 right now, Pittsburgh, 39 in Butler, only 37 in Indiana. Factor in the wind. Feels like 29 in Indiana right now. Current wind chill in Pittsburgh, 32, and a wind chill of 31 in Washington. Okay, so basically 11 dry daylight hours today. If we were to go dry, sunrise to sunset, it'd be a little more than 13. I think we do that tomorrow. I think we do that Sunday. Saturday's a little suspect, and 7 might be being a little pessimistic. We might get 8 or 9 hours of dry daylight time, but later in the day, Saturday, it will start to rain. Want to grill outside tonight? Take the coat with you. Temperatures in the 40s at 5, 6, and 7 o'clock. As we head toward evening and the sun begins to go down, that keeps the clouds from really forming that much, so we should get at least some sunshine toward evening. Freeze warning back in effect tonight for the counties shaded in. This doesn't mean there's not going to be a hard freeze north of this and east of this. This is just where the growing season has already started. Everywhere tonight's going to be near 32 degrees or colder, so keep the plants protected, covered up, or bring them in tonight. Down to 32 in Pittsburgh. Colder in the outline areas as the skies try to clear out. And then tomorrow, not bad, partly sunny, much warmer tomorrow. High temperature, 60 degrees. Some areas will be about 15 degrees warmer tomorrow afternoon than you will be this afternoon. And that warmer is going to start to stick around. Storm Tracker Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. Not a bad start to the day. Comfortable temperatures. Clouds fill in. Here comes the rain by 4. And I think between 4 o'clock Saturday and 5 o'clock Sunday morning, we'll see a pretty good area of water through the region, even a couple heavier downpours possible. So if you have Saturday evening plans, make sure an umbrella is part of your planning period because you're going to probably need one Saturday evening. Rainfall amounts, generally a ½ inch or more south of Pittsburgh, ½ inch or less the farther north you go from Pittsburgh. 59 on Saturday with that afternoon rain, 57 Sunday with decreasing clouds. Rest of your 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Monday, 66 degrees, and then look what happens after Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, high temperatures near 81, and even when we cool off after that, temperatures will still be in the 60s. Catherine?
Hey guys, I have something here that's going to help you feel better, sleep better, fit in your clothes better, like yourself more, have more energy. The list goes on and on. What do I have? I have something that does portion control for you, and you don't ever have to think about it. Now wait, because this is brilliant, okay? This is an entire line called Live Liga. Live Liga is a line that was founded by a woman in Colorado. She was struggling with her weight, as so many of us do, because what do, right? We're stressed. We're tired. Our lives are complicated. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get dinner. I'm going to take a big old blank plate and I'm going to fill it. And if you're me, I fill it side to side, not just to the indentation. I'm going to use the whole plate. And it's going to have all my favorites on there. And I'm just going to keep eating until I'm all full. But 20 minutes later, I'm not full. I'm stuffed. My brain is finally registering what I ate and it was way too much. Or I went out to a restaurant, I ate with my friends, and I ate enough for a week in one meal. But now I know I ate too much. I don't know what to do about it, right? I don't want to weigh. I don't want to measure. I don't want to do all those kinds of things. All you have to do is put the food on the plate. Isn't this gorgeous? So what she's done, the founder, is she's taken the concept of the psychology of portion control and the psychology of feeling full, and she's done this beautiful artwork so it looks like it's just pretty, but all you do is put the grains here, put the vegetables here, put the protein here, put the sauce here, and you now have exactly the right portions, and it's going to look beautiful, and it's going to look full, and oh my gosh, how great is that? So we have full settings for 4, we have settings for the kids, we have all kinds of great ideas, and they're all porcelain, dishwasher safe, microwave safe, and the list goes on and on. Right now on localsteals.com, all these great ideas are 30% off. And I can't think of an easier, more foolproof way to get the most of every day for your entire family.
In general, I think it's a good thing. You know, it's technology innovation.
Robots coming to Bloomfield. You've heard of the delivery apps. What about robots delivering things right to your home? A California-based company is bringing them to Bloomfield for a 6-month pilot program. This one is in Oakland by Pitt. The robots have lights, cameras, GPS, and tons of sensors. And some people we spoke with didn't mind. Others don't think it will work.
I like the businesses as it is now. We can walk indoors, we can talk to each other, we can buy things. You can't do that with a robot. I think they're going a little too far with this technology.
I'm with her a little bit. We'll see. Maybe I'll like them. A public meeting is planned for tonight to talk more about the program. Well, that is all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 4:30.